What is going on, Clippers fans? Welcome to Season 4, Episode 14 of Clips and Dip. Weird week since we've last talked to you. I am Chuck Mockler, joined by Adam Osland and William Updike. I think we last came at you on Tuesday before seemingly all hell broke loose in Clippers. I asked if things could get worse, and it seemed like management may have heard that. But we're going to talk about the back-to-back. We're going to talk about the Chris Paul stuff. There's a game against a team that is built pretty well to beat the Clippers against Houston on Thursday. How are we doing, guys? What a interesting couple of days since we've last spoken. Will, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I had some time now to process the Chris Paul stuff. I know it was a little raw there for everybody. It seemed like in Clipperdom for a little bit. But yeah, working through it. I think I texted that we would win one game and then lose at least the next two, probably the next. However, after he goes out to that looks like it's on track to happen.
Yeah, we got that post CP3 boost against a short-handed. I don't even know who it was. Grizzlies team, I think. Adam, you've been in the trenches more with all this stuff. How are you?
I'm okay. I tend to think it was more the benching that happened with the starters in Miami for the reason they won in Atlanta against a team that was missing some really key guys. Should have probably won the last two games, and they have forgotten how to win and close out games, which is pretty frustrating.
Yeah, we're going to talk some second half stat stuff that was on display in this back-to-back. I feel like the CP3 stuff, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, we're assuming you know what happened, or if you're watching us at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. It feels like it's breaking people's brains a bit. It's just such a two-way. I'm confused why management thought Chris Paul would be different than what his normal self is.
I think they thought they wouldn't be 6-18, so they wouldn't have to deal with CP3 possibly showing his worst side.
Yes, I like that you said worst side too, because there obviously are good sides to Chris Paul.
Worse.
But it's like we got Paul Scheer calling him the Chevy Chase of basketball. Chris Haynes is working very hard to help Chris Paul seem,
I would advise
unproblematic as possible in this whole scenario.
I would advise people to check out how Kendrick Perkins first responded to it, and then how he changed things up after he was getting text messages and be like, "Oh, he's undermining the coaching staff." That's what it was. Like Kendrick Perkins somehow saw the light on this,
which is like what it had to be, though, right? Like I think to your point, Charles, I think this goes beyond just Chris Paul being a competitor. Chris Paul getting on guys' asses, like you expect all that, and I don't think that stuff like that is any sort of surprise. But when you have a team that's struggling like the Clippers are, and you have a guy who's, it seems like, or what I would assume the situation is, kind of thinks that maybe they could do a better job, or is kind of attempting to pull some strings.
Yeah, not wrong about.
Like, yeah, it's like, I can see how that would rapidly, how like the situation would rapidly decline.
Yeah, yes. His style obviously wasn't being very productive or effective. And if what happened at the end of the game in Dallas a week or so ago at Intuit Dome with Klay Thompson in the fourth quarter, and he's having guys switch, and I think everybody at least needs to try to get on the same page and not have different mixed messaging out there between the coaching staff and a player at the age of 40.
Well, it's already so disorganized. Like, how can you have another dissenting voice, like somebody else trying to coach the team that's not even in line with the coaching staff? And like the guys already aren't on the same page. It's like it's not going to work. Right. And I it is a bummer as a fan of CPs, as a fan of the Clippers, that this is the way this is all going down. I think the way this is being talked about, though, like this is like like they're absolutely doing him dirty.
Back.
Look, I think that there were conversations. If it had eroded to the point where Ty Lue like was no longer willing to be like taking meetings with Chris, like with Chris Paul, like I don't know what you do with that situation other than oust him.
He was not blindsided. You know how we know that? Because the report from Lou Williams about him already apologizing to the team for doing some of this stuff, I think that's been double sourced at this point. Yeah. And this wasn't a one-time thing. This was something that had been bubbling for a while and he had been warned about, and then it kept going. And we all knew something was up by what he put out on Instagram with leeway. And now they're trying to explain what that was about. Even if that is accurate, what Chris Haynes said about it, does him putting that out on social media help anything?
Right. Like, we're talking about a 40-year-old vet who is known for his, competitiveness, professionality, for lack of, like, dude, that's a PJ Tucker move, right? Like that. It was surprising, and it's kind of one of those things where you're just like, dude, like, so you're posting like a wide receiver now, and like, what's going on?
What about the post of just found out I got let go? Peace. It's like, okay,
right.
The full context of that was he had a 3-hour conversation with Lawrence Frank. It wasn't they texted him, "Hey, you're out."
Bye.
Like, I think there's been some interesting framing. I love CP3. We love him because he's a hard ass and a self-proclaimed a-hole and all these things, because he only knows one way, and it's been effective throughout his career. And he may go on to be a great head coach. He may go on to have a great rest of the season with some other team. It just wasn't a good fit for this team at this time, apparently, because I don't think they also would have done this to all the other players. Like, they wouldn't have checked the pulse of the locker room to see how everybody else was feeling about CP3 at this time. This wasn't one thing, and it wasn't one person. It wasn't just him and Coach Lue. I think it was much bigger than that.
And it is, Will, you kind of mentioned too, it sucks. It's an ugly situation. We're not trying to say that it's like, what's the BFD?
No, I mean, I
understand
why people are upset. Yeah. And I feel like the way that it was kind of spun initially is it was like, it sounded like,
he broke it, like Adam said, right? He put the post out like, I guess I'm sending home.
Yeah. But I feel
we've all worked with someone with that vibe where you're like, okay, dude.
Yeah, I feel like fans' interpretations or something was it was like he was calling guys out for, like not playing hard or whatever, and the locker room got mad. Some specific, marquee players got mad and wanted him out, and I don't think that that's the situation at all.
After the
quote
win
about leeway with the Van Gundy thing, where it's like, oh, he told Kawhi that he needed to switch assignments or something because he couldn't keep up with Klay Thompson. First of all, I was like, all right, that's making me think about Kawhi's defensive stuff, but that's a different conversation. But then Van Gundy saying you don't have the leeway to do that. Yeah, man, in the middle of the game, you probably don't have leeway if you're not playing to tell Kawhi to do that.
Let the coaches make that decision. For God's sakes, just let the coaches make that decision.
And now people are showing a video of Coach Lue when he was out, when he had those 5 straight games where he was DNP'd, and they were like, what do you want from Chris? And he was like, I want input, I want accountability, and him helping people. People are like, well, that's what he was doing. It's like, input is not the same as directing guys what to do out there on the floor like you're an actual coach and making those decisions unilaterally. I think everybody has a tendency to, like, because they're losing and because so many people are against Coach Lue and Lawrence Frank right now, they would take anybody else's side. And it's easy to say, well, he was the one holding them accountable. And that's what we need with this group. We need some fire and brimstone. We need some of that. If it's not productive, though, if it's not helping, which clearly it's not, yes, if it's not received the right way, there is tact that has to be used in knowing how to address guys to get more out of them. And I love CP3. But it's like, it's an awkward situation because he is the franchise GOAT. But then you see the social media post right afterwards with him and Blake laughing with DJ. And it's like, hey, great. I wish we could have had some of that during the Lob City days and the locker room wasn't so dysfunctional then, because guys then didn't take well to some of the stuff that CP3 was doing when he was in his prime and he was teaching young guys. Now he's well removed from his prime and he's apparently using the same type of tactics with an older veteran group that is losing consistently right now. How is that going to work? Like, I hope they can mend the relationship just the way apparently CP3 and Blake and DJ have with the Clippers organization and CP3 at some point, and hopefully time heals all wounds. That's the goal here. It just right now, it's been a difficult week, and I wish everybody wouldn't just take one side or the other. I think there's plenty of blame to go around. It's obviously not CP3's fault for the record they have had. Lawrence Frank made that clear as well. Things haven't turned around. They're 1-2 since him. Right? They're a bad ball club, and this stuff may not have been helping them turn a corner. We'll see if that ever happens here.
Yeah, and the Blake CP3 DeAndre stuff, Blake had that kind of like pretty eloquent. I think he was kind of raw about what happened, like his explanation of kind of how Ballmer maybe, he said something basically to the effect of like he goes to the games, he cheers, which is great, but there obvious is some of ex-players have kind of said like there feels like a disconnect a little bit when your time is no longer, needed with the Clippers. The way that maybe Ballmer doesn't reach out or do certain things has rubbed those guys the wrong way. So hopefully something can happen with that. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because I think they're respectfully more worried about how to not be 6 in whatever the hell we are right now. That like, yeah, it's just messy all around. Like the org needs to be a little better with how they do that. Like respect these guys. The retirement thing is super weird from the Tomer piece, where he was like asking Chris Paul if it really was his last. And I'm not saying Chris Paul's not going to retire, but that those anecdotes where Chris Paul was like, "Oh yeah, and like walking away and answering the question, and I can just picture Tomer being like, "What the hell's going on?" with all that stuff. So that's kind of weird too.
Yeah, that was unclear. The post came out about it being his last game back in North Carolina, taking on Charlotte. So we all assume that means it's his last season, but it wasn't exactly clear that those two things are the same. I don't know how they couldn't be. I don't get it. Maybe we'll find out more. We'll get more clarity
on this.
Doesn't have a
real
this.
ID. He can't go there anymore.
Yeah, it's the real ID issue.
I just went straight for the passport and bypassed the real ID now.
Yeah, I just take the passport
good.
with me.
But yeah, it's difficult. Like, can we like the Clippers and CP3 at the same time? I think that's possible to do. I think it's possible.
I also think the whole like I used to be the Clippers ball boy, and I'm denouncing my fandom of the Clippers. It's like you're 19 years old. Like, you have seen nothing but, for the most part, a well-run organization. So like, whatever, dude. Defect to the other team in the city, and I guess enjoy your life. But like, what a weird like. How much CP3 did you even really watch and remember as a 19-year-old in 2025? Like,
well, it's also
he hasn't been on the team in a meaningful way for a minute, dude. Like,
do you remember this summer? It was still a little bit divided with the fan base on whether or not they should bring him back. There were people that still had hard feelings towards him. Now it's like, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend because they're mad at Lawrence Frank and they're mad at Coach Lue, and I totally get all that. But like, this is a collective failure going on. It's not CP3.
Yes,
it's not just
100%.
that. It's not just Coach Lue. It's not just Lawrence Frank. It's not just the players. It's everybody. It's all of them. Like, this is when you're 6-18 and you can't figure out how to win basketball games when you're up by 18, or you can't score a point in the last 4 minutes of a game in Memphis. This is just brutal. There's blame to go around everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. And like, there's no right, like the situation eroding to the point, there's no right answer. And obviously Ty Lue and Lawrence Frank are going to be on the hot seat from the fans, because no matter what they do, like, unless we rattle off a 10-game win streak, that's where they're at. And we've heard I'm sure we'll talk about, like, we've heard some different things about what's going to happen there with that front office. I mean, it seems like the likeliness of the scenarios is El Frank's probably going to get extended.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I still think, though, too, like, fans would have a less visceral experience if the team was even 500. If the team was even 500 and these same reports were coming out, they'd be like, man, this sucks, but like, you got to do it for, you got to do it for the betterment of the ball club. But with where they're at right now, it's just, it's all bad. There's no right answer. There's no winning situation.
They're a couple games away from being last in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
They're 6-18. The only team behind them is the New Orleans Pelicans at 3-21. They also don't have their first round pick this year.
Yes, but they do have Derek Queen. The extension talk, yeah, the sources said he's probably going to, Lawrence Frank, said he's probably going to get one, but nothing is imminent, and it was kind of saying like it'd be premature to assume that he's going to get one.
Yeah.
But Ballmer has said he values, stability. You look at orgs that have a lot of turnover, and you usually look at an organization that's not doing very well. And I think this season, people were excited about the season. Obviously, being 500 right now is maybe the worst that people thought it would be a couple months ago before the season started. If you were like, how bad do you think it'll be first week of December? For 500, I think that would probably be worst case scenario, is what I think a lot of people felt. But now,
depending on how much Kawhi missed, yeah.
Exactly. But like no one would say, I think we'll probably be 6-18 or something like that. So the El Frank thing, people freaked out.
That looked click hate bait in some ways.
Yeah, totally.
Red meat for everybody that's already upset.
Yeah, for sure.
And the last line of it does say, in quotes, premature.
I don't know. I mean, as a fan of a team out of a different sport who kept a GM for a really long time with zero success to it, I do think it can be frustrating if you've had a guy in that position, you haven't won a championship or something like that. But I still agree with the Kawhi and PG trade. Obviously, the moves this year didn't work out like we wanted them to, but like, I don't know. Could he be better with people? Sure. Probably every GM would be my guess. I just don't know who you're going out there to replace Lawrence Frank for a team that's going to have $800 million in cap space in 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, let him work again, I guess. Everyone was saying, Lawrence Frank had a great offseason. We love these additions. Sometimes shit doesn't work. Guys get hurt.
Yeah, we were all wrong. I do wonder if it's
rare.
Do they want him to see the vision through? Because as you mentioned, they're going to have so much cap room coming up. Are you going to bring in somebody else midway through the workings of this next era that they have set up and laid out over the past 2 years? We've known about this for at least 2 years, what their ultimate plan was. That's hard.
Well, Adam, you said you also on Twitter, you were saying that you predicted there could be some significant roster shakeup. I mean,
I said I wonder.
Yeah,
this week, because they have 4 days off. If they were going to make a move based upon what he said about being really aggressive, I think the quote is something to the effect of, if I'm wrong and we're not, here it is, quote, if I'm wrong and this roster isn't capable of doing more, as always, we'll be aggressive in trying to fix it. We'll explore every avenue to make this team better. And I said, based off this comment from El Frank, I wonder if we see the same roster in 4 days when the Clippers play again.
Yeah, because we got to wait until the 15th to trade a couple guys, I think, but not anyone huge. I will say, if we do something like trade for DeMar DeRozan, I would be like, God damn it, I don't like that move at all. Because I don't know if this season's a lost cause yet. They are 6-18 or something. Like, it's not going well. So I guess I wonder what those moves look like. Because that sort of things could go sideways if they make some absurd, like, let's trade for Zach LaVine, like some people want.
I'd imagine they're just trading expiring contracts that they have for different types of expiring contracts.
Right.
That's not going to hurt their 26-27 plans. It could be lateral move, but a move nonetheless, just to try something different? I don't know. Or that maybe they stand pat. Maybe they feel like they're not going to be able to get enough anyways. Maybe they don't want to give OKC a higher pick, but they don't want to do that now, and it's not exactly helping their standing.
Will, I think I'm in the, if you're going to trade, like, if you're going to trade everybody, I'm almost in the, like, let's just do everybody. Like, let's just, there was like a fake report about Zoo commanding 2 firsts, which I was like, I think this report is just fake.
I mean, so Lawrence Frank is extension eligible. Like his contract is up at the end of the year.
Let me look it up.
I mean, if you're on the, like, if you're of the opinion that you think this team could use a significant roster shakeup, which it could, is that the time to bring in a new GM? I think
right, like full new vision.
I think that is like a pretty. That seems like a knee-jerk reaction that could compromise a future goal.
Others will argue, though, do you let Lawrence Frank clean up the mess? Like, if you feel like he's set the place on fire, you're going to let him be the one to put it out? Like, I understand that perspective to some degree.
I see the flip side of saying, why are you giving the guy holding the gas and the matches, the supplies to clean the house up? But
I also don't know anyone that said this summer he had the gas and the matches when he made those moves. We were like, oh, cooking all right, but he's not burning the house down. He's just cooking.
Yeah, it's weird. Again, weird week, and then the Clippers followed that up by losing both of their games in a back-to-back. Got outscored by 13 in the second half versus the Grizzlies. Got outscored by 17 in the second half versus the Wolves. What is wrong with the second half? The Clippers are minus 11, almost minus 12 in net rating in the second half. They're the second worst team in the league in the second half.
I think it's 2 things.
Can I give you 2 stats real quick?
Yeah, you got some pretty good indicators here.
I have 1 stat. They're in the second half. They are 30th in assist to turnover ratio while being 29th in pace, which is a recipe for a lot of free buckets for the other team in transition. Adam, what do you think?
I think part of their age shows in the second half. They start to slow down. They're not moving. They're not cutting. The hard things that they were doing earlier in the game become much more difficult because they have been getting off to better starts. They have looked like they've been playing hard. The effort has been there. For people that say, oh, they're quitting on Coach Lue, I have not seen that. You would not come out and playing that as hard as they have the last few games. You would not get up by 18 if you're trying to
Kawhi
quit.
Would play on back-to-backs if he quit on Coach Lue.
Right. I don't think that stuff has much evidence to it. I just don't think they've been good enough in closing out games because their 2 best players are on the older side. And teams also are giving a maximum effort in second halves that they aren't in first halves. Like the Clippers make it the jump on them by playing with great effort to start, but the rest, the teams they're going up against are like, cool, we still got more left in the tank. And when we play hard, everything you're doing right now that's working, when we play hard, we're going to be able to stop that and shut it down.
Yeah. Will, where are you on the second half woes? It is frustrating that it really is just like, well, guys seem to run faster and harder than the old guys.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's like it just seems like a very difficult issue to fix without some sort of roster reshuffling.
Chris Paul.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I was looking at their shooting stats too in the second half, and they're not like elite, but they're like 15th. You know, they're in the middle of the road for a lot of, I don't know if normal stats is the right thing, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not like, oh, we're shooting 22% in the second half. That sucks. That would be an easier problem, actually, because those would probably go in.
You said 29th in assist to turnover ratio in the second half?
Yeah. No, 30th in assist to turnover ratio, 29th in pace. They average 9 turnovers in the second half.
So they're just losing out on a ton of possessions.
Dude, yes.
Even though they're not shooting it that poorly, they're not even getting shots up.
It's a math problem. Like, it's just, and like, you know, the faster pace of everyone else for the most part.
Also, there still seems to be some fluky stuff. them going the last 4 minutes of the game against Memphis scoreless after they were tied at 98. And then Minnesota going 6 of 8 from 3. And some of those were really well defended. You're like, why is Zoo in drop coverage? It's like, man, I just saw him out on the perimeter guarding Naz Reid, and he had a step back three in his face. That is a really difficult shot. That's not they hit some crazy shots, but I do think teams gain confidence as the game goes along against them. They know their reputation, and the Clippers are the worst clutch team in the league, I think, or at least tied.
The reputation is what gets me. That's what frustrates me the most, I think, of it. Because teams are like, all right, we're down 8 at half. We know what to do. Like, we know what this team's going to do. We got to run at them. It's just like, we don't foul a bunch even. Like, we're just like...
They did against Minnesota yesterday in the second half.
Yeah, that's true.
That hurt them.
Naz Reid is also so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a pretty simple formula to beat the Clippers right now. And when it's, when it's that easy as, just play a little harder, it's,
be a guard who can shoot threes and you'll be fine. Yeah, I don't know. If we get a couple more 30-2 runs, I think my tune might change on personnel changes, but I don't know.
The defense the last 3 games has been much better. They're 7th defensively the last 3 games. That matches the eye test. They're still 21st offensively during that time.
And you look at, I think it was the Timberwolves game, they shot horribly from the free throw line, something they're the best at in the league. So even if things are going well, you got that other thing that comes up. It's just like, oh, well, now you're going to miss 9 free throws. Not that would have been the whole difference, obviously, but just like another thing that we can't have it all go right, except for once every, how many games do we want? Once every 6 games, we can like get this shit locked in. But yeah, it's not consistent right now.
Yeah, I think the free throw point's a good one. Zoo missed maybe 5 yesterday, but other guys were missing uncharacteristically out there. And yes, if it's not one thing, it's another. And when your margin of error is that small, where you have to get all these boxes checked to win the game and just one of them unchecked, and it comes back to haunt you, even with an 18-point lead, like missing free throws that could have made the difference. It's tough. It's hard to win. You're a bad basketball team. That's the bottom line.
Because Adam Oslin said so.
Gotta get a lawyer and start looking into invoking some takebacks with the Thunder.
Of course.
We gave you an MVP. We're taking back this year's pick.
Someone tweeted, I can't remember what it was. There's been a lot of Clippers content recently where they were like, people need to stop pretending that the Shea trade, like the context of it now, they're like, was it Richard Jefferson who said, no, it was Perk who said that the Kawhi contract extension was the worst signing of all time. And Richard Jefferson compared the Kawhi trade, the Kawhi and PG trade, to the Luka trade from the Mavs. And it's like, we get it. Shit on the Clippers. But like, that is insane. Like, have legitimate criticisms. Go for it. Don't sit here and try and tell me that trade was that Lawrence Frank is as bad of a GM as Nico fucking Harrison.
The Luka trade was dead on arrival. We all knew it was a bad trade. There was one guy in the universe that thought it was a good trade, and he happened to be the GM for the Dallas Mavericks. Where on the other end, everybody was saying it was a good trade. It was a good move by the Clippers. How do I know that? Because I got the video pinned on X, and it's 5 minutes long. At Follow Adam A, and everybody said how great it was, and most didn't even bring up SGA, didn't even know who he was, didn't care. Like, what they talked about was, it's a lot of picks. Nobody was even mentioning SGA back then.
Right.
He averaged 10 points a game. He was second team rookie. It's just, it's a hindsight bias with that trade, where Luka's that was a first guess.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
There's no comparison. One was good process. It didn't work out. The other was awful process and result.
Yes. All right. Anything else on this saga before we get into previewing the game against the Rockets on Thursday?
No. There's nothing more to say.
There's nothing. Hopefully, God, yeah. Anyway, we need Carl Tart on here to talk about it because we know for a fact he has some fiery takes about Chris Paul. All right, coming up. Oh, Joseph Fry Award also. Maybe we wait a couple months to bring him on to talk about it because he was fired. He was fired.
Couple of
up.
years.
Shout out Joseph. Yeah, shout out Joseph. Coming up, we're talking the game against the Rockets on Thursday. Clips get a lot of rest. It's going to be an ad break if you're listening to us on audio. If you're watching us at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast and you want us still enjoy us, we don't have those audio ads. Ads coming up, and then Rockets talk in 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back in. Talk the Chris Paul saga, the shitstorm that has been the season. We luckily get a bit of a reprieve here, a little 4-day break before taking on a very difficult opponent in the Rockets. But I don't even know what to say about this one. It's a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for the Clippers.
They get a bunch of rest too, which sucks. They played yesterday, and then they don't play again until they play us. Which, where's the lawyer? Where's the take backsies lawyer? Does he do rest stuff too? I know his specialty is take backsies, but surely he does some NBA scheduling disputes too. Last year we had issues with their youth, their defensive chops, and their bench. Adam, haggle, no haggle. Not a single thing has changed except they've now added Kevin Durant to that equation of things to be worried about.
You know, their average age went up a little bit, but their overall talent also went up quite a bit. So they're a problem. They're one of the best teams in the West. It's them, OKC on top, and Denver and the Lakers somewhere in there for being the top 4 teams. And they play a brand of basketball that has been problematic for the Clippers even when they were good.
Yeah.
Because of their size, because of their rebounding out there. Last season, the joke was a possession doesn't start for the Rockets offensively until they miss the shot. Like, that's when the possession starts, getting the offensive rebound. That's when it gets real because their offense was not very good. But when you get multiple opportunities, yeah. And I just looked up the last 3 games. So post CP3 trade. I'm not making about CP3, but I would actually say it's post the starters being benched was the big difference. Post what happened in Miami.
The benching.
The last 3 games where we talk about the tale of 2 halves, they are 5th in net rating in first halves the last 3 games and 27th in second halves. And I mean, it looks like that. They look like one of the best teams in the league in first halves the last 3 games, and then the worst down the stretch of those games. One of those was a win, by the way. One of those was a win, and still 27th in second halves net rating.
I would kill if our win percentage went up to .333. We're at .25 right now.
We went from at best, now probably a 6 seed at best. At best, it'll have to be like 8th or 9th. At best, 10th? Just get in the plan? Is that what we're talking about?
I think so.
Yeah. The winning season is also probably not happening.
Whew.
That one hurts. That hurts.
They're not winning. They're going to win 42. They're going to win 36 more games.
What was the end? What was the 10th seed last year in terms of record? You know,
I don't know.
Did they have a winning record? I would imagine they. No, it was Dallas.
My guess would be it's
Dallas,
close.
39-43.
So close.
That's pretty bad. And Sacramento in front of them was 40-42. So the 9th and the 10th seeds were under 500. So yeah, you're not wrong, Chuck. That's very realistic.
I will say the Rockets play at a slower pace than the Clippers. So put those running shoes on, James.
That's why people.
We need you to make it happen, but.
I think people put too much into pace. Like
for sure.
That's indicative of what type of team you are. It's like, not really, guys, because the Utah Jazz play at a fast pace, the Washington Wizards, the Sacramento Kings. There's a lot of bad teams at the top playing fast. There's a lot of good teams at the bottom playing slow, like Houston, like the Knicks, like the Lakers. Phoenix Suns have been good so far this season. The Boston Celtics play at the slowest pace, and they're 15-9.
Yeah.
That's just style.
Exactly. The Rockets do have some good stats, though. 3rd in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating, 2nd in net, 5th in points per game, 2nd in opponents' points per games allowed.
1st in rebounding percentage.
The Clippers have dropped. Dude, the rebounding is so bad, it feels like, this year. Collins can't grab boards. So the starting 5, obviously, Kawhi and Harden have to combine for... What is the Kawhi and Harden line, do we think, for the Clippers to be competitive in games? Do they need to combine for at least 50, 16, and 12 for the Clippers to be in the convo of the game?
I think
how many touches is Zoo getting?
I don't know. Not enough. How about that?
Did you guys see the stat? There was something about James Harden in games that he scored 30 points in this season. They've lost 3 or 4 already where he scored 30 or more.
Yeah.
And in his time previously with the Clippers, it happened like once where he scored 30 and they lost the game.
What was the score when he put up 55? Wasn't that one like we needed the 55?
That was the Charlotte game.
Yeah. I don't know. We need the same offensive output from Kawhi and Harden. John Collins is going to get put into the ringer against the Rockets on the defensive side of the ball.
Collins has been rough on defense. He could not handle Julius Randle. Nobody could, but before the season started, most would have said this is why you get John Collins for a matchup like this, and he had nothing for him.
Certainly why you get a guy like Derek Jones, who is coming back at some point, which we really need. Will, how have you felt about the John Collins experience? I think Robert Flom tweeted he's one of the most frustrating Clippers ever already, and I think I might be on that track.
I think, yeah. I mean, hopefully some of the shooting stuff is an anomaly. We knew defensively he would be a liability, but
not this bad.
Not that I did not think it would be this bad, but if you were gonna blame L. Frank for something, I mean that would be one to look at. It's another trade. I mean, like the Norm trade is another one that everybody was pretty on board with it when it happened.
Pretty on board.
Yeah,
everybody on board.
Everybody
wanted John Collins for years.
I know, myself included. I thought it was a great deal. Obviously, you can't predict the Bradley Beal thing. Well, you kind of could have. But the Collins misstep. I mean, I don't know. Is this should we?
You just don't think the defense is going to be that bad because the defense is surprisingly bad. While we are seeing Kawhi lose a step on the defensive end, which makes things harder for Collins, right? Because the whole thing was if Collins is in the starting lineup and he's next to guys like Zoo and Kawhi, life should be easier. But the point of attack defense has been rough. I don't know if regressed is the word, if he's always been this much of a sieve on defense, but it's just it's a perfect storm for every guy's flaws to be on display.
Oh yeah, I mean that's another thing. If you're looking at trades and rebuilding this roster, I mean you have bottomed out the value of some of these pieces.
Fuck.
I will say though, the last 3 games, the defense has not been the reason they have lost. They've been good.
For sure.
Yeah, they've
not
been
scoring
good.
in 4 minutes.
Yeah, even with John Collins out there, I think his defense has been better. They've been 7th. Overall, the last 3 games, and they easily could be 5th. It's fractions of a point away. The offense struggling that bad when they need to get points against the other team's defense, who it seems like when they ramp up and they're playing harder, the Clippers just cannot match them.
Yeah. I'm worried about the bench in this game. The Rockets' best 3-point shooters are on the bench. Tari Eason is shooting 51% on 5 3-point attempts a year. I think Reed Shepherd is shooting mid or high 40s on 8 a game. He is such a goddamn good shooter, and he's a guard, and this team has let guards enjoy their time behind the 3-point line. So I'm like, Bogey, you just got to try and just keep up with them a little bit with the 3-point percentage in this game if we're going to have any chance, in addition to Kawhi and Harden putting up 60, 45, and 100 or what I said.
Was the Miami flight so delayed because they were trying to do a takesy backsies with Pat Riley?
Yeah. Oh, that added a whole that added such a weird wrench into the timing of the whole thing too.
Yeah, sorry to bring it back to that.
No, you're fine. Because before I heard that,
I just
before we knew about the plane
thing, to say about us against the Rockets.
Before we knew about the plane issue, it was like, wait, why did this happen at 2 a.m? And it was like, oh, there was a horrible plane delay. All right, that's a pretty good excuse.
Billable hours for the takesy backsy attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I just would again.
He gets paid in goof bucks.
Well, I don't like seeing CP3 go and like that either. I am pretty sure the Clippers were aware of the blowback, the PR hit, and they still felt like they had to do it. And that should tell you something about how bad things could have been behind the scenes. But
in a season where like they can't buy any goodwill, like, you know, like that, like public perception of the Clippers could not be lower, and they still opted to do it.
Dude, it
like,
really could not
and
be.
They still
like
opted
this
to do it. Like,
they hold my beer aspiration investigation. Like we got these other problems. We're bad, and now CP3's gone too. That's one way to distract from the aspiration stuff. It's like it's just been a disaster for 4 months or so now.
But hey, turn around with the win against the Rockets, right?
Oh, I'd be singing a very different tune if we beat the Rockets.
You're getting the championship year tattooed.
I'm getting the play-in year.
What tangible things can the Clippers do to keep this one close? I just want it to be close.
They better hit shots because they're not going to be able to get many rebounds. They need a hot shooting night badly against Houston.
Sengun was out their last game, but he was sick, so I think he'll probably be better by Thursday. Steven Adams was out because of an ankle. He's day-to-day, but again, 4 days off, so I think he'll probably play.
Yeah, I expect the possession battle to be so lopsided in this one that
in a good way.
Efficiency is like their only way out, I guess.
Well, the 2 stars have been efficient, so that's good.
I think the analysis of hit shots, I mean, that's tough to beat.
Brother,
make shots.
Even when you're winning, it's good advice, right? All right. Do we?
Because the Rockets get optimistically how many more possessions than the Clippers in this one?
Optimistically?
Yeah.
Let me see what they're averaging
per
game.
What's the lowest amount of possessions they'll win by?
Yes.
Oh, I would say 8.
So they're averaging 90.5 field goal attempts per game. And the Clippers are averaging, that's good for 7th. The Clippers are averaging 84.5, which is 29th. So we're looking at, man.
I think they're the best offensive rebounding team. They're the best rebounding team.
Yeah, and their percentages are crazy good too.
Yeah.
Clips by 3.
Could be their year.
Fuck. Well, how's it
long break though. A lot of young guys. Maybe they eat too many cookies, play too much COD or whatever kids play.
Whatever, maybe it's too much COD.
First game back, overconfident at home against the Clippers.
Sounds like a trap game for the old Rockets.
When are we going to be the trap? Like, when can we be the trap team?
Now. It's literally on Thursday is when it starts, dude. If you lose to the Clippers now at this point, it's a trap. It's like, okay, yeah, well, I did something fucked up in the past life. We lost to the Clippers. That's what
that could be why they were up by 18 on Minnesota.
We haven't had, wacky outings. I'm telling you, we're still scraping the bottom of the barrel of wacky outings that this team needs to do to come together. Have they been to golf and stuff? We don't know. That's where Lawrence Frank needs to work on. More ball pits, more like goofy shit.
Do you guys think there could be a move before Thursday? Do you also wonder, like me, if there could be a move?
I do, and I think this sounds weird. I think it would maybe try and be for a backup center. Because our current backup center situation is dire. Despite, again, a preseason guy who every commentator and their uncle was saying was somehow the most impressive guy in camp, which now I'm like, was this just to be nice to Robin Lopez? And he's like getting yammed on by Kobe Sanders or something like that. But like, we need a backup 5 that can play every night. Small ball doesn't really work with this old team in long stretches because it can't. So like, we do the sexiest thing in the world and trade away an old Lopez for a weird backup 5 because Yannick's not ready, I don't think.
Is he on a player option for next year, or is he expiring this year? Like it's just a 1-year deal. I couldn't remember that.
Let's look. 2 years.
A little less appealing then, huh?
Club option.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, yeah, isn't it a club option? Great.
Yeah.
So that's basically an expiring.
Oh, I do like. Here's a good example of Google AI really pulling its weight for me. Disregard my spelling. That's Brooke Lopez, right?
Does he have a man bun?
Brooke?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's a Samoan linebacker.
It's not even Robin. It's
a football player. God, I hate AI. That being said, though, a good lesson if you search Lopez's contract, you'll get Brooke Lopez's contract. So good job on Google for making that correction, I guess. So okay,
do you think that's the biggest need, or just the easiest to make?
I do not think that's the biggest need.
What's biggest need?
40-year-old point guard who plays 12 minutes a game and yells at the coaches. This sounds shitty, but I'm in the headspace where the biggest need is picks. I think. Like, we're not, dude. We just talked about how we might not go 500. I don't think there's a player move that's big enough that gets us to that.
Yeah.
Playing competent basketball is the biggest need, and we need to have a guy who can play backup 5 minutes.
I mean, I'm fully open to a full sell-off. I have been for weeks. I think there's something to worrying about OKC getting a higher pick could be cutting off your nose to spite your face a little bit. Like, don't worry about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care about OKC's, and I mean that not like they don't. If
It's
they
done.
came out and
like
said they made
it
moves,
sucks, but yeah.
Yeah, you think Lawrence Frank's getting clowned on now? If he said what everyone else has already been saying, of like, we just did this so we want to make sure that OKC doesn't get a good draft pick, people would crucify him. Like, even though they all agree with it, that would be an insane thing to hear a GM say. Has a coach ever said anything like that, or like anything in any sport of like, well, we just want to win these games to prevent our pick that we gave this other guy from being good? Like, that would be taken in the wrong way, would be my guess.
It's also just, yeah.
Not how it works. Will, do you think a trade's made?
No, not in the next 4 days. But I mean, I think they're on the phone. I think they're exploring options.
After the 15th, I think something maybe happens.
Yeah, before the end of this calendar year, something is going to happen.
Yeah.
That is what I say every year on New Year's Eve. I say, guys, something before the end of this year, something's going to happen. And then this happened, and the Clippers suck. So, yeah, I think a trade is probably likely. Do you think they get anybody? Because it feels like it's either small trade or big trade. Because a small trade doesn't
takes you backseat for Norm. Could happen in the next 4 days.
That's true.
Small trade, big trade. Why not both?
Yeah, sure. That'd be cool. We didn't pick a player of the game for the Houston game. Who do you guys think's gonna catch fire for the Clips?
I feel like everyone's available for this player of the game.
Oh yeah. I'm going Kobe. I think Kobe Sanders is gonna have a great game. He's been kind of fun to watch. Yes, he's a rookie and there's some bad stuff, but hey, if you wanted youth to play, watch Kobe. He put up some good tape earlier in the week.
Going Big Zoo. The only chance at saving our season.
Trading him for 2 first.
What if we have a losing season, but Zoo grows his hair out?
I'm okay with that. You know what? I'm all right with that.
So you're saying not a losing season?
Yeah. I think those are. I don't think that works.
Zoo, until we break off a win streak of 10 games, you can't cut your hair.
Dude, maybe it is that.
I'm open to Ivica Zubac being traded, and I hate saying that statement.
Oh, yeah.
If that happened, I mean, that's such an admission of a failed season. If you have to trade Ivica Zubac, that's just.
They are 6-18.
Or, I mean, or you just really get the right price. You know, if something is looking like a McCall-esque deal.
But who's looking for? I love Zoo, but what contender is? Because it's someone with a bunch of picks, right? Like the Lakers.
You don't. But it's not a rental, and he's on a good contract.
Yeah, and he is good.
It does make sense for Boston. I think that's just reading tea leaves. I've been talking about Anthony Simons for a while. Oh, that's who they're getting back. My bad.
Will, you're an Anthony Simons fanatic.
Truther.
He's one of them. Yeah. Some picks on Anthony Simons, sure.
It's not trading Zoo isn't.
Moon, Anthony.
I undersold it. Trading Zoo isn't an admission of a failed season. That's an admission of a failed era. If you were trading Ivica Zubac.
Well, yeah, I mean it's
or like I said though, or just the really right price.
No, but it's even with the right price, it's like this era is over to the point where the only way we could get picks back was trading our best asset that is going to be good, that may win with somebody else. It's just it's hard. It's hard to think about. Our longest tenured Clipper, the guy who understands the fan base the most, that really relates. Oh, I would hate that.
If we trade Zoo for a good haul, I would be sad, but I would understand why.
Sure.
If we trade Zoo for a good haul and he grows his hair out on his new team, I will genuinely feel scorned.
Yeah.
I would be.
I'd burn my Zoo jersey.
Yes, I'd burn my Zoo wig. It's a bald cap with a number 1 shit on it. All right. Do we have anything else we want to add about this Clippers team? We're talking about bald caps, which senses that things might be going off the rails. Not as far as they could go. When do we bring Dips back? We said 5-20, which that's not happening. Sorry, fellas. We're not going to Applebee's. But 6-28. 6-24.
If we're at 30 losses before we get to 10 wins.
God damn, man. I was looking at their schedule too. We might.
If we get to 30 losses before we get to 10 wins, this might become a Dips and Movies show.
Dude, we're going to talk about Dips. We're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about
all the Patreon content you've ever wanted will be available on the main feed
for free. They go Rockets on the 11th, Grizzlies on the 15th, Thunder on the 17th, Lakers on the 20th, Rockets again on the 23rd, Blazers on the 26th, Pistons on the 28th, Kings on the 30th. Fellas,
Zach LaVine could be a Clipper by then.
Oh my god!
Revenge game for Zach LaVine. Wow.
What if you don't give up draft capital and you get Zach LaVine and just keep him as a rental, like you don't resign him?
Then I would say that we're the Los Angeles Kings. I would say that is a Sacramento Kings ass move. Because we're also matching salary, aren't we? So we're like trading James Harden or Kawhi.
No, it's John Collins and a bunch of other stuff.
I would say the Los Angeles.
I like that we're talking like we're Lakers fans with these trades. Like
no, I know. I'm being an idiot.
What were you saying, Adam?
They're like, because the Kings were the new Chicago Bulls on the West Coast. So you're like the LA Kings Bulls or LA Chicago Kings. Like, it's something, it's an amalgamation of things that probably wouldn't make people
the Matadors, baby.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's do a rebrand. What if they did a rebrand before Thursday? Do you think that would get people to forget about the season going poorly? We become the Caballeros. All right.
Paul George appearing in the rebranded jerseys for the promotional stuff and never playing in one is one of my favorite Clippers moves.
I got a question. Who do Clippers fans root for more tonight, or root against more tonight, I should say? Do you root harder against Paul George or harder against the Lakers when Philly's taking on the Lakers?
I think you root harder against the Lakers.
Yeah.
I do.
But I want
Paul George.
But I want Paul George to suck in the win.
Yeah. I want him to remain healthy but be bad. Him getting hurt so much makes it hard to kind of hate watch, because I'm like, he just might get hurt while I'm watching this, and I don't want to put that energy out there.
All right.
But I think it's Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is for me.
Hope they flip their bike and knock their 2 front teeth out.
They're also a divisional rival, so can never see them win.
Yeah, wait, are we mathematically eliminated from winning the division? We need a big meter behind Will that says X amount of games until we're mathematically eliminated. All right, we're gonna happy hour stream on Friday to talk the Rockets game and whatever new insane bullshit will be happening. Episode out for next week on Sunday, most likely. Will, I think we do a better job with this podcast than the Clippers are maybe doing playing basketball right now. Where could people share similar or differing thoughts as to that?
Yeah, give us your praise. We need it right now. We all need it.
Give us your praise.
You can do that. You can shower us with praise over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can, of course, listen wherever you get your podcast. The best way to shower us with praise is over on youtube.com @Clippers Podcast, where you can watch the show. You can tune in for those Friday live streams, comment, but however you listen, however you watch, hey, I hope we're making it more enjoyable than the Clipper season has been.
We hope we can be a small beacon of light in these choppy waters that is the oceans of hell.
Adam, egg in these trying times.
Yes, eggs for days. Adam continues to be, this is the hardest part of every episode. We need you to say something positive for Clippers fans to get us ready for Rockets week.
I think it was Law Murray that put it up. Clippers wins, losses, depending on how many days off they've had before that game. And I don't think we know yet their win-loss record before having 4 days off and how that next game goes. So, I mean, I'm taking that as a positive. Like, it could definitely be a victory. There's no trend. There's no bad trend that says that they lose or they're 0-3 every time they have 4 days off before a game. That's what I'm going with.
They could put up 200 points. We don't know.
Yeah. This is uncharted territory.
Shit, let's do it. Let's put up 200. All right, let's just hope there's good process. We'll be back with y'all. If something weird happens between now and the game, we'll have some content for you. If they re-sign Chris Paul just to cut him again, we'll go live. We'll make sure to get all that on there. Thank you for hanging out. As always, let's go Clips.